Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. Justin's back for a video. He's been gone for a few days, but he's back and we're here to discuss, we're here to discuss a lot of things because we have a lot to catch up on. We're going to talk about Ottawa versus Pittsburgh. We're going to talk about Game 1 last night between Nashville and Pittsburgh. So let's start with Ottawa. What's your thoughts on that series and how it ended?
Man, to be honest, it really could have went either way. Ottawa was one shot away.
Yeah, one lucky bounce
from the Stanley Cup final. That's how close they were. And you look at the Ottawa Senators, man, I got nothing but praise for them because to me, they did the unthinkable and they really took it to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Because in all honesty, how many people really pegged Ottawa to take that series 7 games? And really, at times, dominate in a lot of aspects of the game against Pittsburgh. Because to me, defensively, Ottawa was that much superior to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. Even though, to me, on the blue line, Pittsburgh, on paper, almost looks a little deeper on the blue line than the Ottawa Senators. And that's why I think a lot of the credit really goes to Guy Boucher and the system that he put forward and getting the players to buy in. And that's why, to me, he's the best coach in the NHL right now, just after this playoff run. In my opinion.
Bold statement, but yeah. I don't necessarily
That's how much
disagree.
respect I have for Guy Boucher. And, you know, he does have a master's degree in sports psychology. That plays a big role. He always knows the right thing to say. And in order to get the players riled up, that's very important, you know. And even after they were eliminated, he was still saying all the right stuff. And my respect for him is just through the roof. And Ottawa, if you're an Ottawa Senators fan, hold your head up high because, wow, that is something to be proud of what they did.
Absolutely, they were the Pittsburgh Penguins' biggest challenge so far. Yeah, you know, in these playoffs. And man, you're right. It was just one shot away from them going to the finals, and it could have very well happened. It was a pretty crazy series and a pretty crazy ending, for sure.
I predicted it all wrong. I really thought Pittsburgh would have had an easier time with the Ottawa Senators. Maybe I underestimated them a little bit, but I looked at the depth that Pittsburgh has, and I look at. Well, I mean, Ottawa does have a little depth to them, but stacked against Pittsburgh is just not comparable. Yeah. And I really thought that would have shined right through, and I thought Pittsburgh would have really just run over the Ottawa Senators. But wow, they didn't do that at all.
You underestimated Ottawa. I underestimated Ottawa. And I think even Ottawa Senators fans underestimated Ottawa.
Yeah, I think so.
They're the kind of the fairy tale of the East. And I actually predicted Boston to beat Pittsburgh in round one, to beat Ottawa in round 1, Boston over Ottawa in round 1.
Right.
I don't remember what you predicted there.
That's a few weeks back now. I'm really not sure.
It's so long ago.
I'd have to go back and check. I think it would be fun to go back and check. Now that we're at the Cup final, we know who's playing for Lord Stanley's Cup. It'd be fun to go back and just kind of recap of how bad my predictions were.
We made predictions to have fun. We don't think we're going to be right. We just do it for fun.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Pittsburgh moves on to the Stanley Cup final. They play Nashville, who's on a more impressive fairy tale run than Ottawa was on. Pekka Rinne's been amazing. Arvidsson, Josi, Subban, all those guys playing absolutely stellar hockey. Now they face the Pittsburgh Penguins, the most deep team, arguably, in the NHL in the last 2 years. What's your thoughts on this matchup? And I guess I revealed your prediction last night. It was Pittsburgh in 7.
Yeah.
How'd you feel after Game 1 as well last night?
Game 1 was probably the weirdest playoff game I have ever watched.
It was very strange.
That's the only way to really sum it up. Nashville really came out flying, which I expected, because to me, Nashville has been the most tenacious team in the playoffs. Yeah. Their forecheck can be relentless at times. And to me, they're the most energetic team of the playoffs so far.
They really are.
I've never seen a team yet that competed with them on a pure energy level. So they're really out to prove something, and it's something to behold, really, how they've come together as a unit, and they're playing phenomenal hockey. Now, going to the PK Subban goal, that was
big controversy here.
Big controversy. Now, obviously, as a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, there's a part of me that was ecstatic that the goal was overturned. However, I'm on the fence with this one, and I really think it should have just been inconclusive. It's really a 50-50 split down the board on who thinks this was a legit goal and who thinks it truly was offside. Because on some angles, it really looks like his toe is still on the ice.
Yeah, it does.
But on different angles, it kind of looks like his foot is elevated.
Absolutely.
Or is that maybe just a shadow that we're seeing? it's really tough to tell. They took over 4 minutes on this one.
Yeah, and like you said, we were talking about this kind of before the video.
Right.
You know, there are some analysts like Elliot Friedman and Don Cherry and Matt McLean and Kelly Rudy and all these guys. They all kind of have different opinions. There's not really a one-sided argument here. Everyone's kind of on the fence, and it kind of seemed like the refs were on the fence last night.
They were.
And in that situation, in my personal opinion, if it's not conclusive and you need that much time to kind of make a decision, I think you have to default to the call on the ice, which was goal. But that might be a little bit of a biased opinion since I want Nashville to win, but I'm on the fence with it. So,
well, here's my guarantee. If that goal was not overturned, Nashville would have taken game one.
Think so?
Hands down. Because they would have scored the first goal. They had all the momentum leading up to that first goal. However, when that was overturned, it took the wind right out of their sails.
And then they got 2 penalties, one of which should not have been a penalty.
Yeah, the James Neal one, to me, that was the only penalty here. Yeah. The first one was a joke because, to me, it looked like Hornquist just fell on his own before. I forget who it was that kind of gave him a little cross-check. But it almost looked like there wasn't even contact made there. To me, that was a really, really bad call. The James Neal one, to me, was a legit penalty. That was it. So taking Nashville down 5-on-3, I didn't really like that. Even as a Pens fan, I really didn't like that because I'm all about fairness. And to me, that was the wrong thing to do.
A 5-on-3, like 2 penalties at the same time in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I don't know.
I didn't like it at all. And after that goal was overturned, Pittsburgh really gained a lot of momentum and they really started coming on strong. And it took quite a bit of time for Nashville to really regain their focus, calm down, concentrate, and get back to their game, which they did as the game went along.
Yeah.
Now, I also want to say that in Game 1 last night, Pekka Rinne did not look like Pekka Rinne that I've seen throughout the playoffs. That Malkin goal, I didn't like it a whole lot, how that squeezed through there. And was he screened? I don't think so. That, to me, shouldn't go in, especially a shot from that far when you have a clear line of sight of the puck. Now, the Sheary goal, there's no chance on that.
There's no chance he would.
That was, the perfect tic-tac-toe play. Nobody's going to stop that.
Fantastic pass.
Wow.
And Sheary wasn't covered.
And the third one, that's just a bad break.
Yeah.
That was a pure bad break. Now, the other one that I didn't like was the Gensel goal. That was the first shot Pittsburgh had in over 35 minutes.
And at the time, it was 3-3, I believe.
Yeah, it was 3-3.
You need to shut it down.
It was 3-3. Gensel just comes flying down the wing, just lets a shot go, and top shelf.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah, it was because Nashville, to me, deserved a better fate. They were down 3-0.
It
seemed like the whole world was against them. They had the goal overturned. They were down 5-on-3, gave up a goal, and they stormed back and tied that game. It blew my mind. But at the same time, the Pittsburgh Penguins should be 100% ashamed of themselves because they go up 3-0, and they have this habit, when they gain a lead, to just stop playing.
You've been saying this for years.
Yes, I have. They have this awful habit. I don't know what Sullivan has to do to try to correct it, but it pisses me off. They go up in a game and they say, oh, it's okay. We can just float around. We got this. No, you don't, because you constantly blow leads. And when you're up 3-0, that game should be sealed. It should be sealed. If you're a Stanley Cup caliber champion team like they are, that game should be sealed.
I agree.
And when you're up 3-0.
That was kind of the behavior that they had with Bilesma as well for a couple of years.
They did. It was horrendous to watch. As a Penguins fan, when they go over 35, they went over half the game without a shot on goal. They had 12 shots to finish the game. You're not going to win the Stanley Cup with only 12 shots per game. However, they were able to hold Nashville with less than 30, so I was a little happy about that. They did play fairly decent in their own zone, but they lacked a forecheck all night. There was no effort. There was no energy in them. They had energy. They went up 3-0, and then it just all went away. And it allowed Nashville to claw back in that game. And they deserve a lot of praise because they could have packed it in after it went up 3-0. They really could have, but they showed championship caliber.
Absolutely.
And able to storm back and tie that game. I was actually proud that they were able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun hockey to watch as well. So I have a couple questions for you. Question number 1 was, do you remember in the first period when Matt Murray kind of went back into the post a little strange?
Yeah.
Were you worried at that point?
No, I wasn't worried because when they showed the replay, you could tell he purely got it in the crotch.
Yeah.
But he didn't go in like insanely hard or insanely weird. Because at first I thought maybe he tweaked his knee or something.
That's
the
what
way
I thought too.
he fell, I thought maybe it kind of folded, but then when they showed the overhead view, I said, oh, okay, well, he's going to be fine. And that's why they wear cups, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously it hurt a little. It's going to. He's a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was able to bounce back, luckily. But even if, say, he was injured and had to come out and Fleury had to go in, with the way Fleury played up to the point Murray took over, I wouldn't be worried at all because he was incredible. I mean, come on. They shut out Washington in Game 7. All thanks to Fleury.
Fleury's the man. I would have liked to see him in the net.
He might get a shot.
Let alone come back into the net. But that's just my opinion. I don't think Murray should be in net. I think it shows a bit of disrespect to Fleury. But obviously it doesn't matter what I think because it's working and they're winning up 1-0 over Nashville. So it is what it is. So question number 2. You've made the prediction of Pittsburgh winning in 7. Do you think Pittsburgh wins the next game at home, Game 2?
I think Nashville will take the next one. I think, it was all over Peter Laviolette's face at the end of the first. The players cleared. They were all in the dressing room. He stayed on the bench to stare down the referees. That's how pissed off he was. And if I was the coach of the Nashville Predators, I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to rub off on the players. And next game, it's all out warfare from the Nashville Predators because I think they feel that if they don't win Game 2 and they go home down 2-0 to the defending Stanley Cup champions, they're in big trouble.
Absolutely.
They need to win Game 2, and I expect Nashville to just come out flying 100%. And if Pittsburgh can come out of the first period with that score even, whether it's 0-0, 2-2, they have a chance to pull out Game 2. But I think Nashville next game, it's going to be 2 times the tempo of Game 1.
Yeah, I agree. Question number 3. Do you think Pittsburgh is worried about going to Nashville, arguably the loudest building so far in these playoffs? Do you think that they're going to be taken off their game by the crowd alone in Nashville?
I don't think so. I mean, you got a lot of experience on this team, and you got a guy like Crosby, a guy like Malkin. They played in arenas all over the world in international competitions. They're used to going into the Lions' den and having to deal with that. And I think even though, obviously there's not going to be many Penguins fans in Nashville, I think they're looking to embrace that because it's going to be just an energized atmosphere. And as a player, you always want to play in those scenarios.
Yeah.
And I think a part of them will be excited just to get in there and play.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
The atmosphere there is unbelievable. I mean, I'm a Penguins fan. I'd love to go to Nashville right now and take in a playoff game.
That would be amazing.
Because that is amazing. I've never heard anything like that in my life.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And they're already talking about, who's going to do the national anthem in Nashville because being in Nashville, there's a lot of star power around.
Yep.
It helps to market the game. It really does. But do you really need celebrities? To do the national anthems? I'm kind of iffy on that. I like bringing in these no-name people, trying to help them launch a career, that type thing. Maybe I'm just kind of old-fashioned, but if I have to see Carrie Underwood again, I don't really care. I'm not one for that, the celebrities. Or say, like, if there's a playoff game in Chicago, they're always panning the camera looking for Vince Vaughn because he's a big Chicago Blackhawks fan, or CM Punk. I mean, the NHL uses these guys to help market the game, but I'm not for that.
It happens in LA too. There's a few celebrity LA fans.
Michael J. Fox is a big one. He's a big hockey fan. So if he's ever around, they're always panning the camera. Or even last night, the games in Pittsburgh. How many times did they pan the camera up to the press box so they could look at Carrie Underwood?
Oh yeah.
How many times?
Oh yeah.
I think it was crazy.
It was relentless.
Every time Nashville scores, she's high-fiving and going. I think she spent more time texting on her phone though than watching her husband play.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just a U.S. celebrity thing when. I guess this would have been 2 years ago when there were games in Toronto or Ottawa. Sometimes you saw Stephen Harper, the former Canadian Prime Minister, in the crowd, and they'd always show him, sitting with a few people. I think he even watched a game with Mike Myers one time.
Yeah, he did.
It's just funny to see.
Yeah,
but
because Mike Myers is a huge Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and he goes to a lot of games to show them support.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's wrap it up there. It was good to catch up with you, and it's been a few days since you've been included in some videos, so it's good to have you back for one. What's your prediction for Game 2? I want to know what you think the score is going to be and who's going to win.
I'm going to say 4-2 Predators for Game 2.
I'm going to say 3-1 Predators for Game 2.
Not far off.
I guess we both picked the same winner, but close.
Yeah, I really feel Nashville's going to take Game 2. They're going to make a statement in Game 2. Pittsburgh does have a really good habit of bouncing back. They'll lose a game and they bounce back the next. I think Nashville has that same ability. And there's going to be a lot of ill feelings after Game 1 because, man, it really seemed like after the first period, the whole world was against the Nashville Predators. But they overcame it. They tied the game. But, you know, Pittsburgh just has these lethal weapons at times that can strike. And, of course, you know, one of the goals was an empty net goal, so I don't even really count that. I wiped that off the score sheet. But, man, Pekka Rinne, you know, to me, he wasn't 100% on par. But, hey, you can be a little rusty when you go over 35 minutes, really, without playing the puck.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, that was pathetic. I wonder if that's a record in a playoff game. Longest duration without a shot on goal.
That'd be interesting.
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, we'll look that up.
Because that's over 35 minutes.
That's crazy.
That's over half the game. Like, that's incredible. Blew my mind.
Blew my mind as well. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. We really appreciate it. If this is your first video, we hope you hit the subscribe button here. We're making hockey videos all the time. Otherwise, if you like this video, hit the like button, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.